How we doing, people? Gregor here. Hope everybody is well, you wonderful human beings. I just want to take 10 minutes of your time just to share a little update. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but over the last year I have been on a bit of a self-exploration journey to better my health, physical, mental, emotional and spiritual, and I've came to a conclusion that my well-being and my health is at its absolute optimal when I am in nature. I've also came to realise that I have a responsibility and a duty to walk beside people and help them help themselves. And I have decided to join these two together, to blend them, and this has led to the creation of a new charity called Natural Wellbeing Scotland, with the aim of supporting people to access nature, and to access nature in a way that is designed to introduce them to experiences, tools, information that can help them boost and optimise their well-being, to help build positive connections with people's self, with others, with nature, and help cultivate a sense of meaning and purpose, to build a community, to challenge the current norms and paradigms around life, existence, survival, connection. We're living in communities, particularly in Glasgow, but any deprived community in Scotland creates so many barriers for people to realise their full potential. We just need to look at the Glasgow effect, which Natural Wellbeing Scotland aims to tackle. That is an environment that is not designed for optimal health, an environment that is destructive, that is the drug death capital of Europe. We only need to look at the shocking statistics, Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation, look at ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, we look at trauma. And in my experience there are so many people, I don't think I've met a single person who doesn't have some sort of what John Furman would call a primal wound, a deep rupture in their sense of self at some point in their life, which they carry with them, and the ripple effects of that are beyond contemplation. So the environments in Glasgow's deprived areas and any deprived areas across Scotland, we lived through millennia as a human species in nature, surrounded by nature, connected to nature, and only in the last hundreds of years have we been disconnected from that. And we just so happen to live in one of the most beautiful countries on the planet, especially when it comes to our natural beauty. So the way that the current paradigm, day-to-day life for the vast majority of people in Glasgow living in deprivation, this is not natural, and we need a new way forward for our communities. So here's a call from Natural Wellbeing Scotland. We think that we've got to get real, and of course not everybody in the communities is living in absolute poverty, that's true, but many are living in emotional poverty. Many are carrying grief, trauma and anxiety and depression, and they've never really had the space or the support to make sense of it. And for the outside it might look like they're managing, but inside they'll know they're drowning, man. And the vast majority of people I've supported over the last 10 years, including myself, man, have stuck in survival mode, caught in the sort of hamster wheel. A lot of people, low paid work, lack of dignity, try to access broken systems. There's so many people who just don't have any opportunities at all. Some are struggling financially, but most are just struggling with life, with a sense of hopelessness. That feeling of walking up a downward escalator, going as fast as you can, getting everything you've got, but still getting nowhere. And so many people are facing suicidal thoughts in silence, man. In silence. Too many people are carrying wounds that nobody can see. We live in communities where trauma is inherited, where addiction is self-medication, and where pain wears a mask. I mean, I live in a scheme where there's more betting shops than GPs, where there's more pharmacies honing out pills than there are services offering healing, where there are more deaths than new lives born, more arrests than school leavers stepping into opportunity, less health, more illness, less hope, more harm. This isn't natural. It's not who we are, and it's not how we're meant to live, and it's killing us quietly and en masse. So Natural Wellbeing Scotland, instead of asking what's wrong with people, we're asking what happened to them, and more importantly, what do they need now? Because behaviour isn't an issue. Behaviour is a language, and for loads of people it's a language of pain. People aren't broken, they're responding to the conditions around them. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you. You can't expect people to thrive when they're constantly under threat, physically, emotionally, even economically. And when we look at the facts, people in Scotland's most deprived areas, they're twice as likely to die by suicide than those in welfare postcodes. Life expectancy in some Glasgow schemes is 20 years lower than communities less than a mile away. And 1 in 4 children in Scotland are growing up in poverty. We know that chronic stress caused by poverty impacts everything, from brain development to people's immune function, and it has an impact on their physical and their mental health long term. And this isn't just inequality, this is a bloody public health emergency. And when you grow up in chaos, fear or instability, it changes how you experience the world. It creates invisible wounds, and these invisible wounds shape your decisions, they shape your relationships, and they shape your self-worth. You end up carrying the belief that you're not enough. You think that love needs to be earned and that your voice doesn't matter. This isn't weakness, this is trauma. And this is where Natural Wellbeing Scotland, or NWS, comes in. We don't want to be just another box ticking service. We don't want to wait till people just fall off a cliff before offering them a horn. We want to go upstream before the breakdowns, before the overdoses, or even before the cell doors slam shut. We want to build an alternative, and we believe it starts in the wild. Because when the world disconnects us from our bodies, our feelings, our communities, our land, we think it and know that nature brings us back. We want to create safe spaces in nature, powerful experiences for people who have been through it, whether that's grief, trauma, addiction, violence, poverty. And we want to also be able to prevent people from experiencing the most vicarious impacts of these things. We want to take people outdoors, into forests, rivers, coastlines, hillsides, lochs, and even if we've forgotten, city green spaces. No suits, no assessments, man, just space, just breath, just reconnection. We want to offer and combine nature therapy, peer coaching, adventure and community, and blend them into something human, something bold, man, something alive. We want to light fires, we want to cycle through mountains, we want to plunge into cold water, we want to laugh, we want to cry together, we want to talk, walk, breathe and cook together. We want to create space to feel, to reflect and to belong, all in nature. The work we have planned is trauma informed, man, and rooted totally in lived experience as much as possible. We also want to make it practical. We want to try and make sure it works. And because the root of so much pain is disconnection, whether that's for the self, disconnection for others, or even a disconnection for a sense of meaning and purpose in your life, I think the answer's in connection. Healing doesn't come for fixing people, it comes for holding space for them, for showing up with love, with patience and with no judgment. That's actually how the nervous system resets, and it's also how trust is rebuilt. We don't want to ask people to change overnight, we want to invite them to feel safe enough to take one step. We have pilot projects planned and we want to use them to sort of lead the charge. Our first one is our Going Wild days, where we want to take people out in nature, set up a base camp and run a full day activity, or holistic wellbeing activities, everything from fire cooking, grounding, yoga, breathwork, cold water, dips, mindfulness, archery, hammock meditations, team building, group circles. We want to do overnight camping sessions where people can sleep under the stars, hear stories, begin to dream again, and also deepen and strengthen that connection with nature and with a range of holistic wellbeing practices. We want to do walking and talking groups where the pace is gentle but the breakthroughs can be really deep. And we want to generally create a community of peer-led support where lived experience is a badge of wisdom and no mark of shame. And also I'd like to inject a bit of trauma-informed coaching into the process, helping people reconnect with their own identity, purpose, possibility. And we want to do all of this in a way that's fun and no stigmatising, destigmatising and free. We think that improving your life should feel good, it should feel real, and it should ultimately help you feel like you again. We particularly want these pilot projects to target and challenge the Glasgow effect, where people in our communities live shorter, harder lives because of the street that they were born on, and we're not quite happy with that. We don't want to wait for permission, we want to get on with the work. Let's be honest, life's too short, the issues are too big and the gaps are too wide to ignore. We need to create space for people to breathe, for people to access tools to heal. We need people to find purpose, and we need ultimately each other. We don't want Natural Wellbeing Scotland just to be another service. We want to create a movement, a deep shift. Of course we'll be a charity, but it's about solidarity, forging a new path together, one that's wilder, softer, stronger and truer. So, and I'm sure every one of you listening to this do, please send a message to anybody who feels that they're too far gone, they're too broken, they're too tired, that they're not, that they're just surviving. And hopefully with some support, some funding, we can create a path for people not just to survive but to start living, and we'd like to offer them to walk that path with us together. So I'll end with this. To anybody that's struggling, Natural Wellbeing Scotland will soon be ready to say, let's walk a new way together. We'll meet you at the fire, the forest is waiting, and so are we. Keep tuned, get in touch. Much love.